This is F122. This is Axis MRS Racing. This is race number 1. An entirely new season on an entirely new game. And I'm Seb Bauer. Glad you're with us tonight for the season opener of the first season on the new game. And where could this be better than Lapland, Silverstone, England? These are the drivers that will race with us for this season. We have 15 people in the lobby right now. A few spots are still open. The MRS, the Mainstream Racing Series, where I come from, merged with the Axis Racing Series, merging together to the AXIS, Axis. And so a lot bigger now. My former home league is now part of a pretty big program. 2 races tonight with around 30 people active. We hope to grow a little bit further because we could be even over 40 simultaneously. We hope to reach that moment sometime later in the year, maybe in autumn, when online gaming picks up a little more. So these are the boys that are active for tonight. 15 people in, as I mentioned. This is the lobby. A few names I still know, a few names I still have to get used to. We will have a one-shot qualifying followed by a 9 laps sprint race to determine the starting grid for the then 26 laps main events of tonight. And the session timer ticked, is not ticking anymore. A lot of stuff I have to get used to on the new game as well. I would like to say I am a pretty experienced broadcaster, just not on the new game, or at least not yet. But that will come, I expect, later in the season. So what else is important? Well, the timer is ticking. Sadly, there is no lobby music anymore. I like that pretty much of our old game, of the F121 game. But okay, can't have it all. And here we go. Off we go to Lapland, Silverstone with our 15 race drivers. Meanwhile, I have to check out something of my stream. I would like to activate the chat. That is, I think, deactivated. I didn't broadcast for half a year for some personal reasons, and all of a sudden everything is different. What I dislike a little bit. Have to look it up how a potential chat could work. But first, let's have a look at our one-shot quali. One-shot is not so good to broadcast. And right now I managed to get the chat working. Yeah, we will have a one-shot quali. This is the only time in the year that we have this one-shot quali, because usually we should have a reverse grid for the sprint race, reverse from the championship standings. But as I mentioned, this is the kickstart to our new season. So there is no standing. We could reverse for the sprint race. And so this is gonna be determined in a one-shot quali. And here we go. We sit on top on the TV pod of Thomas Walsh, one of the names I know so well. One of the persons who has been so successful over the last years. But he just could not get it home last season. He just could not get it done to acquire the championship. But that is something we should talk about later in the year. So there is no comparison. We just ride on board of his Haas for this one hot lap. Let's see how hot lap will be. Tom Walsh is a tremendous good race driver, tremendous good race strategist, I would like to say. He has not been the best qualifier in the past 2 years. And if I say years, I mean calendar years. I think I have broadcasted him and his brother for 3.5, maybe 4 seasons. So I would like to suggest I know pretty much what to speak about, at least for the Walsh brothers. And Tom is ranked 7th here. Dylan Chapman is retired. He has not got it done very well. Thomas Walsh 6th in the end, and he is, yes, in P6. The pole goes to someone new to me, Bashi Chi by his name, followed by Deacon, or Dean or Deacon, could read it quickly enough. So Tom Walsh, not bad, P6. So he starts in the 3rd starting row. So here is our starting grid for the sprint race. Bashi Chi, followed by Dean Con. And in P3 is Sikavan. P4, Dominic Walsh, the younger brother of Tom Walsh. 5th, ABXMT. 6th, Tom Walsh. P7, Simo, Peter Simpson. Nice to see you again, mate. P8, Blood Diamond. In 9th, the HD Zucker. P10, Min 1123. In P4, Torpedo Jack Rocknail. 12th, Guga River. In 13, SBA. 14th, Chemaxter. And 15, Dylan Chapman. Whew, a lot of new names. I got to learn and get comfortable with in order if I can stay with the league. And sprint race, pouring rain. Could be that this is already full wets weather, full wets, or maybe even paddle time. Let's see if we can race on inters, or if it has to be the blue tire, or if we go out with a rudder boat. A few seconds left for our drivers to set the strategy, but there is more or less no big strategy on the sprint race, especially not in wet conditions. So here we go in a soaking wet installation lap, and yep, wet tires. The blue, formerly called the monsoon tire, it is that we will have to use here tonight, at least for the sprint race. Doesn't have to be the same tire or the same situation then later for the sprint. So I still need to get a few things sorted out here from my home. Is this, as I mentioned, something to get used to again. Didn't do it for quite a while. Then further, I have moved to a new flat. So yeah, so this is everything entirely new for me here tonight. New game as well. So browsing through all the messages in the Discord chat, but there is nothing of importance. I think I was confused for a moment because Multigame Vlogs mentioned that my microphone is on mute. I think that this chat message is already a bit older. When we were still in the lobby, I always tend to listen to myself, to have a headphone in my ear so that I can listen and check if everything is okay with my voice and with my stream while we watch Bashi almost crashing into the wall there. And there are some drivers being disqualified from the warm-up lap. I suppose this has something to do with the new added feature in the game with manually moving into the starting box. Nevertheless, all our drivers are somehow set now. The 5 red lights and then the sprint race of Silverstone. Here we go, and we start with a penalty for no one else but Thomas Walsh for a jump start. That is already ruining his sprint and maybe or even the whole first race for him. The rest went pretty much okay. I would like to say no bigger issues. Now, right when I say we have yellow and a 5 seconds penalty against Jack Rocknan. Sadly did not catch it. Sadly couldn't exactly show you why. Still having to figure out how the new camera system works. And but the rest, it was actually pretty okay start. I would like to say no bigger issues, no bigger carnage. In sector 1 there is no yellow still, or again, and we have Bashi still leading ahead of Dean, who's very close. There's some yellow, there is some yellow because Zucker, there is a crash, there is a first more or less jinxed crash. That was Zucker, who is now lacking a front wing, and he collided with the Ferrari of Sikawan. I would like to say we have full course yellow. Is it a VSC? Is it a safety car? What is it? Feels like a VSC. There is sadly no information to me or us. Anyway, Zucker will crawl back to his pit crew to get a new nose cone. Let's see if someone else was involved. Simpson is okay, Chapman okay too. There was at least one other Ferrari. What's going on? Sikawan, who is probably lacking downforce, spun out of the last turn, and we have three drivers into the pit. Sikawan is not damaged. Sikawan's Ferrari is okay, so he does not see the necessity of having a pit stop, but Rocknan is in. The Zucker is in. Rocknan. Yeah, Williams. Williams. He has to wait so long until the other Williams is finally served. So that took really long, extra long for Rocknan, while Tom Walsh is already out on the track again. And Jim Maxtor seems to have some internet connection issues. He has checked out and back in again. And meanwhile, with all that, let's say, slight chaos of the first lap, we are back to our front trio. Bashi leads it from Dean, from ABXMT, one of my new favorite names. Gotta search some sort of a nickname for him. While the interval is not correct, of course. There is no 1 minute 48 between P1 and P2. I suppose the game will correct that as soon as we are in the next lap. And so these three are the top runners here in wet conditions. Behind, there is already some gap after 2 laps, 4 seconds of gap between P3 and P4. ABXMT, meanwhile, with a new fastest lap of the race. The driver we watch here, we sit atop of his shoulder. And here in sector 1, it looks like he is getting closer. It looks like he can close the gap to Dean. So maybe it took himself a lap or two to acclimatize to the soaking wet conditions. And now he might pick up the pace. Maybe it was just because of sector 1 that fits his setup a little bit more. Yellow in sector 1. This is an orange car. Is that Simo? It is Simo. Peter Simpson, the mainstream racing series champion of season 2. A long time ago, was in F1 2020. He can have tremendous pace. But yeah, in the later stages of his virtual F1 career, he more or less lost it a little bit. Let's see if he can get literally back on track here with F1 2020. And what is this? Sikan taking a very wide lane there. Before cops. So with rainy conditions, of course, no DRS activated. And we now see Dean pretty close to Bashi, while he could crawl away by a few tenths from ABXMT again. So the top 3 more or less match each other's pace, getting closer a little bit every here and there, and then run away again. While Guga River in P4 is dropping back further and further. So the podium of our sprint race, I would like to say, is more or less decided. If there is no bigger issue, of course. The question is just in which order these 3 men will step on the virtual podium later. Bashi was the fastest in our sprint quali with almost half a second of gap to Dean. But every once in a while in the rain it looks like Dean is faster, but right now it does seem like that ABXMT is the faster one. Here we sit on his TV pod once again, watching him follow Dean as much as possible, as close as possible. Meanwhile, there is another driver that is very close. That is Minmon, and at the end of the SS he got through against, who is it? Blood Diamonds in the Alpha Tauri. Oh, sliding into the grass. That's not the direction to go. At least not if you want to be successful. And here he comes back on track. Big gap behind, but I think he lost 2 positions from 7th to 9th. But it's really easy, really, yeah, difficult to control the back of your car, especially with so much power that we have in this car at the moment. And ABMXT spun. ABMXT in sector 1 had a problem there. He spun out. He lost his rear as well and lost the position to Guga River, and maybe even another one here. Wheel-to-wheel racing here in sector 2. The Alfa Romeo of Dominic Walsh. Did he push through? He tries. They will go wheel-to-wheel into Cops. No, they won't. Just before Cops, Dom Walsh pushed through and is ahead and will stay ahead, at least for the moment. We had a short yellow in sector 3, but already vanished. And so, yeah, the podium is not decided, just as I said 3, 4, 5 minutes ago. So it is now Bashi leading from Dean and Guga River, and it looks like Dominic Walsh can pull away a little bit, at least far enough to not be under direct counter-attack from ABXMT. Yeah, and Guga River is the smiling 3rd man in, slipping through, and having a hand on the podium. Ooh, Dominic Walsh. Gifting back P4 to ABXMT. The Alfa Romeo, who just muscled through against the Mercedes and dropped the position again. Here we are again with the issues of Yeah. The rear of the car being maybe a bit overpowered for these slippery conditions. So what else is important? There are about no drivers somewhere close to attack. Let's get at least try to get everyone in here for this first race. Alright, when I say it, we have yellow and it is Peter Simpson and Rognan is out. Rognan is out. Jack Rognan has crashed. Where is he? Or did he crash? No, I think he checked out. I think he has given up, DNF'd in the pit lane. So for some reason did not see any necessity to get through the race. Full course yellow. Yellow only in sector 3. So we have yellow now in sector 1. Sector 1. Still sector 1. Bashi still leading from Dean, so nothing new there. Google River still on podium course. ABXMT shows us that he is fast. He is fast and he is entroubled by his powerful engine. Almost lost his Mercedes again. Wiggling out of the last turn. And there is maybe some little Alfa Romeo battle looming. This is Mimon getting closer to Dominic Walsh. Less than half a second. In dry conditions, this could turn into a pretty promising DRS battle, but of course, no DRS battle here in rainy conditions. Some yellow there again. Maybe it was Simpson again, so it does not look like as if rainy conditions would do him a favor. When ABX is close, he is trying to get his podium position back. Just a little reminder, he was on the podium for half the sprint race duration and then threw it away. Not throwing it entirely away, but at least gifting away his podium position. Rain does definitely not ease off, so the whole sprint is soaking wet. There is no mandatory pit stop in the sprint race, but weather sometimes makes it necessary to consider blue or green tire. But this thought is off the books for this sprint race here today. Let's see how the main event then will go by. Yeah, so ABXT is pretty close to Google River, but I doubt that he is close enough to dare an attack. I mean, this is just a sprint race. It's not everything at stake here already now. There is still a main event to come, even though have a look how close he is. How close he is. Less than 3/10, now it's 3.5 when accelerating out of the S's. Loads of EIS and it's a contact! Woohoo! Contact between ABXMT and Google River. My goodness. What a tremendous excess velocity he had there at the end of the Hager Straight. And that all just from ERS power. There is no DRS, as I mentioned. So let's see if he will let it be now, if this was a little bit of shocker enough to just accept P4. P4 is not a bad spot to go into the main race. Or if he will try it all, go for it all here in the last lap. The rest of the positions more or less are decided. Minmon got closer and closer to Dominic Walsh, the two Alfa Romeos, but it does not look like as if there is some battle looming between the Alphas, and same goes for ABXMT. Here in the SS is getting closer again. It is always the end of Sector 2 that his Mercedes is by far stronger than the McLaren, while Peter Simpson has retired here very late in the race. And now can he do it again? Again, a lot of excess velocity with ERS outside lane at the end of the hangout straight. Who will be third? Who will be the final man on the podium? There might have been a little tag. Now the lane should work for ABXMT. Guga River still wheel to wheel. Now the lane should work for Guga River, and this is the podium for Guga River. Wow, what a photo finish. What a great finish here in Sector 3 between McLaren and Mercedes. Sorry that I did not show Bashichi crossing the line first, but this battle was really good, really cool. Well done, both of the drivers. And nice little photo finish for our first sprint race. That is just what we want to see here in Axis, here in AMRS Tier 1 called Senna. So this is the final result of our sprint race that will determine the starting grid of our 50% main event, what will take place in just a few minutes. So don't leave. Get yourself some new beverage, get yourself comfortable on the sofa or in the racing seat or wherever you watch us. And that was a really promising start, I would like to say. Driver of the day, Guga River, getting P3 gifted from ABXMT and defending it very well in the end. So here is our final result of the sprint quali. Bashichi in pole after the one shot and after the sprint. Second, still like before, is Dean Con 91. Third, Guga River. Fourth, ABXMT. P5, Dominic Walsh. P6, his teammate Minmon in the other Alfa Romeo. P7, Chemakstar. 8, Dylan Chapman. P9, Blood Diamond. 10th, Thomas Walsh. P11, Sekawan. 12th is the HD Zocker. P13, SVAESQ. 14, Peter Simpson, and 15th and last, Jack Rognan. So we have us a little bit of break, just a few minutes. Don't wait too long. We are back here in a moment with our main event in a, how it looks like, pretty sunny, fair weather Silverstone. So here we are in Silverstone, lot better weather than we had in the sprint quali. And one entirely new thing for this season is that we have free tire options in every session and to the race start as well. So this is the starting tire for our 15-man grid. We see Bashichi and Deancon starting both on hards. Then the majority of the field starting on the medium tire, Guga River, AMRS, all of them down until P11, 12th and 13th. That's Zucker and SVA, my second new favorite name. They start on hards as well. Peter Simpson in 14th on soft. The Lonesome Rider on soft. And P15 at last, Jack Rocknan has decided to start on the yellow tire. So it should be, normally it should be a one-stop race, but you know how things are, you know how how much a safety car phase can shuffle all these strategic thoughts. So let's just wait and see how things will evolve. Which strategy will be the best? We will have to wait and see. The hards on the start, The hards on the start just make sense if you can make them last very long. So you cannot have an early pit stop for a nose cone damage or things like that. 1, 2, 3 people disqualified for not parking in the correct spot, while the rest of the grid is forming up. Simpson and Rocknan in their spots. And then the 5 red lights and the main event for the first race of the newly found racing series. Here we go in Silverstone. Good run from good start from Bashi. Guga River already passed Dean. Dean did not have a good start on his hards. He has dropped down to 4th, maybe even more. So the hards, of course, feature less grip, and he felt it on the start. Here he is maybe overtaken again. Yes, he is. Deancon ranked down to 5th only, maybe 6th now. There is Sikawan trying to push ahead. And he is. Have a look. Deancon down to P6 from P2 to P6. What a bad start for the Red Bull. While Bashi is still in the lead. P7 now only for Deancon. My goodness. He has dropped back half the field. Really not the plan how he wanted it to be. Have a look what else has happened. Position changes. Well, we see yellow in sector 2. There we see the other Red Bull. SVA, not a good start for him as well. So both the Red Bulls not where they wanted to be, not how they wanted to start their new season. The team principal will not be happy. Speaking about team principals, yes, we have that in AMRS. Team principals that decide and manage their each team. We still see yellow, and we see some crash. There was the McLaren of Simo and the Williams, I think, from Blood Diamond, that darted in the completely wrong direction. And so we have as a safety car. Is this a safety car? Yes, safety car. Safety car in lap 2. Blood Diamond and Peter Simpson somehow had a come together there on the Hamilton straight, causing the first safety car phase of the young season. So let's analyze the situation a little bit. We see Sikawan +7. Wow, really the big winner of the start in P4 now. Maxtor with +4, that is pretty decent as well. +4 for Thomas Walsh and +6 for Rockman. Coming from the bottom of the grid up into midfields, up into P9. Big loser of the start must be, of course, Dean Con with -6 and maybe even Dominic Walsh. P12 -7 for him. Now let's have a look who pits. If there is anyone to pit. It is not Bashi, ABXMT not as well, Maxtron not, but someone? Did I see someone enter the pit lane? No. Oh, there's something going on. Sekavan and Guga River, there was some illegal overtake it seems, so someone had to return a position in Sector 3 there. Because on the safety car there is no overtaking, of course. You know that. Yeah, what's going on here? What is going on here? There are both the McLarens. No, it is Guga River and Sekavan. Not sure who should be in which position. Not sure who should be first and second. Or fourth and fifth, more or less. But I think things are sorted now, at least between the two of them. No one pitted. No one decided to change to different tire. So the tire situation, the tire strategy of the drivers will go on. Now is Sekavan back in fourth. So back and forth and back, whatever it is. I hope that things are sorted now and the game knows what it does, where to rule whom, and hopefully not to penalize anyone. But what happened to him? My goodness, Dean Con. That was a tremendously bad start. I mean, we've seen him. We saw that he does have some pace. You just don't finish a wet race in Silverstone in P2 if you don't feature some pace. But something went totally wrong there for him. And now he has to hustle behind. And not just Bashi, not just one, he has to hustle behind 7. For all those places he dropped down very early. We see hardly any weaving here on the Hamilton straight a little bit, but the rest of the field more or less there is just pretty less weaving. Means that the tires are pretty warm. In this game, in my first impressions from the handful of races I did, I think that in this year the tire temperature is featured pretty well. So first lap or the first half a lap after a pit stop, you have about 0 grip if the tires are green. That is actually, I expect pretty good, pretty realistic. And we should see Bernd Meidender, the safety car driver, back in pits after this lap. So the race start for Dean Con has gone from bad to worse. He got gifted a 5 seconds penalty for ignoring yellow flags. Not sure what happened there. But the even more important message is the safety car will be in at the end of this lap. And Bashi, have a look. He's doing very, very slow, forcing everyone to weave, and he already picked up the pace here very early after he was so tremendously slow on hanger straights. But anyway, he has surprised ABXMT a little bit. He is already behind by over 8/10. So big gap here at the restart, but ABXMT, who is still lacking a nickname from me, he has the tire advantage, of course. So with the medium tire, he should be able to close this gap pretty easily within the next few laps. Where else is important? Here we see Thomas Walsh very close to Guga River. Guga River, who sneaked onto the podium at the end of the sprint race. And he is already forced into defense here again. But things worked out pretty okay in these few turns. But he has to try to get into the DRS window of Sikaman ahead, otherwise he will be swallowed up by Thomas Walsh pretty soon, maybe already even now. No DRS active, of course, and Thomas Walsh pulled back. He lifted the acceleration pedal there. He knows he should not overtake into the SS maybe now. Wow, what an excess velocity. My goodness. He just drove by Guga River even though there is no DRS yet. So that tells about the setup difference between very low and very high downforce. And Guga River is dropping back. Have a look how much Guga River is dropping back. He is already in the grasp of Minimon. Even though still there is no DRS that will be activated after this lap. So Guga River, not the best start of his race as well. Yellow in sector 1. That was Dominic Walsh. The former champion, crawling out of the grass there. Probably lost his rear somewhere there in sector 1. And he's hustling behind Yellow in sector 2. That is just ahead of him. There is a blue car. That's Soccer. HD Soccer, who had some sort of troubles there as well. And here we are with Sikavan, and ahead is Chemaxtor, who is close to ABXMT. And that is interesting. Because I expected ABXMT to close up towards Bashi with his in theory faster yellow tire, but nope. Have a look. Nope. 3 seconds the gap almost between Bashi and P2. And instead of gaining grounds, he is rather forced into defense pretty soon against Chemaxtor and Sikavan, who both will be DRS equipped right here. First DRS zone, you can see the drag reduction system opened up in the Alpha Tauri ahead, and it will take just maybe a lap or two, and then ABXMT will be given some troubles there from the Ferrari and Alpha Tauri behind him. So this is one package that features some action, likewise to Dean Con, who is trying to limit the damage from the start. So hanger straights, a bigger DRS zone here. Chemaxtor already showing himself in the rear view mirror of the Ferrari ahead, and here is not only a rear view mirror view, this is a legit attack and a legit overtake. Maxter into P2. But have a look how close the Mercedes is. Let's see if ABXMT can counter it in the next DRS zone, or maybe even now. No. No. Nice idea of a surprise attack, but that did not work. Now, DRS zone. Alpha Tauri in defense mode. No chance. But Maxter didn't get the apex correctly. Yellow in sector 1. This was SVA-ESQ. Now we get closer towards Cops. Dangerous place to overtake. And maybe actually he knows that. Yes, he knows it. So let's have a look at this battle group from the view of Sikavan, who is filming us the situation from the number 1 perspective mode, and he is closer to the Mercedes. ABXMT right now attacking him. Both DRS equipped, wheel to wheel into the turn. Now the battle lane for Sikavan. He is through for the moment. Maxter says thanks. Maxter is happy that those two boys battle each other, because then they cannot attack him, at least in this one lap. And there's a spin. There's woohoo, a 360 of ABXMT. Wow, nice maneuver, nice save from the Mercedes. But he dropped the position, but he dropped P4. That is now in the hands of the Haas of Thomas Walsh. But yeah, nice maneuver, nice 360 there from, I need a nickname, my goodness, ABXMT. No, sorry, I will need a nickname. I cannot call him ABXMT a whole season long. Need to be creative about that sometime during the next days. Meanwhile, we see Google River overtaking Dean Con. Dean Con in the Red Bull, who is so much struggling. He had such a good sprint race and such a bad main event here right now. Very sad, very sad. Yeah, NASCAR on Instagram. Welcome to our live stream. I will try to focus everything who is battling, and that is, for example, Guga River pushing ahead over Minimon here in the DRS zone. Counter attack, question mark. Oh yeah, he tries, and he fails, and he spins. And I think there was a contact. There was contact with Dean Con. I think Dean Con ran into the rear of Minmon there. Ooh, wow, that is sad. Sad. Some good action, and yeah, bitter end there for Minmon. Let's check the Red Bull. There is no visible damage, but that does not have to mean that there is no real damage. And here is Dylan Chapman with the RS pushing through under the bridge. Well done. Nuffield, it's the name of the straight. Yellow in sector 1. Already vanished. Whew, quite some action here in the first half of our inaugural race of this season. Speaking about action, someone close is Dominic Walsh, who's chasing the sucker. Let's see if he can stay close enough for a potential DRS overtake, or at least setting it up, but 6/10 should be a bit too far away. We see a pit stop from Tom Walsh. Nope, from the one Walsh to the other. Here is Tom Walsh into the pits. Almost driving over some Alfa Romeo mechanics. Quite some pit stops now. Tom Walsh too, and Rockman. So obviously the pit stop window is open. But not for this man, not for Bashi. He's racing on hards. He is having a pretty calm event. 11 laps down, almost 6 seconds the gap. So yeah, that is pretty decent racing, I would like to call it. And here is the Ferrari of Sikavan, still chasing Jim Maxtor. And he's very close here now in or on the hangar straight, but still too far away from attack. Oh, he's a little bit jumpy, I think. Almost caused a little bit of a heart attack for me. Bashi, next fastest lap of the race. That tells us that his hearts are still pretty decent. Pit stop from AMRS and Guga River. By the way, the pitters from the lap before, Tom Walsh, Rockman, they have stopped for hearts, of course, so they will finish the race on this one-stop strategy. Yeah, totally true. Haas undercut strategy, genius. Yeah. Thomas Walsh did show us a few masterpieces in tire strategy over the last AMRS seasons. I remember one tremendous good Russian Grand Prix where he really raced down almost everyone with a really well thought tire strategy. It was risky, but he got it done. And speaking about Tom Walsh, he is past the Mercedes AMRS MT. Tom Walsh has already heated up his tires, the Mercedes probably not. And that gave Tom Walsh the get-go. Yellow sector 3. There is a Ferrari. That is a Ferrari. Aha, and that was Sikavan, who was pretty far away from the racing line there. Chapman in the pits. Dylan Chapman probably from medium to hard. Yes, it is. Let's see how aware he will get back to the race, but this pit lane is so tremendously long. Such a long pit stop delta here in Silverstone, and he is back wheel to wheel with Guga River. Maybe a slight contact there, and the McLaren should pull through. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Better tire temperature for Guga River. That gave him the upper hand against the Mercedes. But this is far from over. Far from over. Well, meanwhile, AMRS is only 7th anymore. So both the Red Bulls, both the Mercedes rather walk backwards than forward in this race. Yellow in sector 1. The blue bubble is already driving again. Sadly couldn't tell you who it was because there are just so many blues. Maybe it was... No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Rockdown it was. Check, Rockdown it was. Sikavan in the pits. Medium to hards. Usual tire strategy for him. And he is down to P7. Yes, he is. Second behind AMRS, who is within the DRS striking distance to Thomas Walsh. That could turn into an interesting group here. While it is only Chemaxtor who is still racing on the mediums from the start still. Let's see how long he'll stay on this tire, and the others on hards. That is Bashi, of course. Yeah, and just when I speak about him, Chemaxtor into the pits. Yellow to white potentially, and now let's focus on the driver I need a nickname for against Thomas Walsh, who will have to defend pretty soon, I expect, but maybe not yet. Not yet. Hanger straight is long, but not long enough for AMRS to attack here. What I am surprised about is Sikalan, who is down 4.5 seconds to AMRS. He got out of the pits almost wheel to wheel, so he is a bit far away from my taste. Maybe there was some incident, maybe he lost a bit of time for whatever reasons there. And now Deancon is back into second. Deancon is back where he started the race from, just with a slight little gap of 33 seconds. So Thomas Walsh is under the rush here from the Mercedes from behind. So this could get messy a little bit very soon for him. But not a good exit for AMRS, so this could save Walsh here on the hangar straight for another lap. By the way, 11 laps to go, 10.5 laps still to go. Yeah, no chance for an attack here. Thomas Walsh manages to get out of the SS well enough to always stay far enough away, I want to say, from AMRS. Meanwhile, we see the first hard starter to pit. That was Soccer, who was a tad bit too fast on the pit entry, and that gave him a 5 seconds penalty, if I saw it right. Next DRS zone here that we watch over the Haas rear wing. No chance again for AMRS. Meanwhile, Bashi is 35.5 seconds away. What a tremendous effort already by now. And here in the SS, AMRS is close again. But as soon as we accelerate out on the long straight, it is the Haas pulling away. At least pulling away far enough not to be in the Mercedes grasp. Yeah, an interesting idea, NASCAR on Instagram. Chemaxtor, in case you're listening to us, there is some Tom Walsh fan requesting you to spin. So Tom Walsh can get a hand on the podium. Yeah, we will see. We will see. For some reason, I doubt that Chemaxtor will do you this favor. But we'll see. We'll see what's gonna happen. Still 9.5 laps to go, and no pit stops. yet for Bashi and Deancon. The hard starters still yet to pit, and that can only mean that they try to go as long as possible on the hards and then probably swap over to the soft tire for the final stint. And here once again, lap after lap, it is ABXMT close to Tom in the S's. And as soon as we go out to hangar straight, the gap will be big enough not to attack for ABXMT, but he's closer now. He's a little bit closer now, but not close enough for an attack. But if he can stay in this position for the next few turns, if he can stay close enough, then it could happen pretty soon that he is in striking distance. We are under 4/10, the gap between Mercedes and Haas here. Let's stay with him for one more DRS zone. That is the one right here coming up. Under the bridge, where Kimi Räikkönen had this incredible accident some years back, and now wheel to wheel, this could work. Yeah, could. Only could. Bashi in the pits. Bashi in the pits. Meanwhile, and before Cops, Mercedes overtaking in Cops. That is dangerous. But this time it worked. Wow, what a surprise move from ABXMT. But that means that Tom Walsh is now DRS equipped on the next hangar straight, and there could be some counter upcoming. Bashi meanwhile in the pits opted for mediums, not softs like I expected. And here is the potential counter DRS attack from Tom Walsh. No, or not yet. And meanwhile, look who has been crawling up. Look who's there. Look who is there. Sikavan, who was almost 5 seconds behind those two boys. And he is back into the action, potentially making this a three-man battle here in the late stage, in the final part of the race. While we see yellow somewhere on the pit entry. I suppose that was Dominic Walsh, who had some moment of going sideways there. And so, DRS zone, no one is close enough for an attack. This will get interesting. This will be interesting in the final stages of the race. 6.5 laps remaining. Cops attack from Ferrari against Haas. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Can this be real? Wow! Thomas Walsh almost lost another position in Cops, but only almost. And now, there was contact between the Haas and Ferrari of Sikavan. So now it's getting messy here. Now it is crunch time, action time. DRS was opened for the Ferrari, and I suppose likewise for Tom Walsh. Tom Walsh able to defend his P5, but with all these defending and stuff going on, he lost valuable time on ABXMT. He is still in the DRS striking distance, but he is out of the immediate attack zone, I want to call it. Not in direct striking distance, just in the 1 second window. Yeah, the Tom Walsh fan is for sure angry about the contact that were made between Sikavan and Tom Walsh. But luckily everything is okay, no bigger damage. Damage done physically as well as time-wise. Just a few tenths he dropped. That could have been a lot worse. And as we had so much face time for these these three boys. Let's crawl through the field a little bit and show some other drivers. Yeah, this man, Bashi, is having himself a tremendously great evening, but sadly has not had much camera time. At least here we can watch it for a moment in his, yeah, pretty lonesome race, but we have to scoot back into our battle group as Sikawan was very close there, but on Tom Walsh's rear. Yeah, wiggling out to the Hamilton straight there for Sikawan. And that costed him time, and Tom Walsh now is closer to ABXMT again. I would really like to scoot through the field, but those three boys make it impossible for me to do so. Next DRS zone. But no one in striking distance. They will get closer to each other, but not be able to attack. So let's have a look at this man. P2 goes to Jim Maxtor right now, and it looks pretty secure. Pretty sure that he can step on the second podium spot in a few minutes. 14.8 seconds the gap on the leader. That is very far away, but likewise Dean Conn in P3 is far away enough from Jim Maxtor as well, who did not stop, by the way. He has a penalty and he did not stop. So he's trying to make his hards last tremendously long, even too long, I suppose, that he lost a lot of time. And have a look, there is our battle group behind, right behind him. Within a second of Dean Conn is the three-man battle group, and right when I say it, Dean Conn finally gets into the pits. But he will for sure stop on a set of softs now and have himself a sprint end of the race, sprint stint in the end. Hello, Andrew Mond. Thanks for the nice and warm words. Yeah, I missed your name too, and there was contact! There is a contact right when I greet Mondi. There we see Sikawan running into the rear of Tom Walsh, and I know very well who's gonna freak out now in the chat room. Yeah, exactly. What the peep? Yeah, there were a lot of peeps now in the team radio of Haas between Tom Walsh and his race engineer. Yeah, making him drop down to 5th. There could be some issues later after tonight, after the race, with our race marshals. We will see what will happen. So what else is important? I wanted to scoot through the race. We see in P6 Dylan Chapman, very well known guy, at least we know us pretty well, I would like to say. He is in P6, 10 laps old Hards, but the medium runner of Zucker behind him could cause some troubles for him. There is some yellow ahead, because ABXMT dropped behind Tom Walsh. And there is the counter-attack trying to get P4 back for ABXMT. I did sadly not catch that on camera. Not sure if ABXMT has had some troubles, spun out or something, or if Sikawan tagged him out as well. Don't want to imply anything, but Sikawan pulled through to P3, of course. And here's the attack from Mercedes against Haas once again. ABXMT against Thomas Walsh, battling to defend now for Tom Walsh. Yeah, Walsh stays ahead, at least for the moment. Cops upcoming. You know that Cops was not a good place for Tom Walsh to be in this race in the earlier laps. And the Mercedes lifted it. You could literally hear how ABXMT lifted. Next DRS zone on Hangar Straight right here, but Thomas Walsh always has a very good exit onto the hangar straight, as bad as his cops is, as well as his exit on hangar straight, and that denies an attack for the Mercedes, at least for the moment. A little bit of wiggling there for ABXMT. And so the Mercedes are combined, or are neighbors here in P5 and 6. P7 is Guga River, and who has for sure not had any stakes here in this race. Pretty good sprints, not such a good main event, but P7 features valuable 8 points for him. No, 6 points, sorry. P8 is the Zocker, but still a penalty in his backpack. He should stay in 8th right now, as he is over 5 seconds ahead of Minmon. Both the Alphas in the facility of each other. P10 goes to Dominic Walsh, who might be under pressure by Dean Con, who is running on softs, fresh softs against old hards. That is mostly not such a good combination for the one who's defending. And then 12th SVA ESQ, my second favorite name for this season. And in P13 and last, sadly, the Torpedo Czech Rockland. Yellow in Sector 2. There is a Mercedes, that was ABXMT, who is crawling out of the lawn. He maybe was a little bit too aggressive there against Thomas Walsh. They were battling, and Thomas Walsh is on the podium because Sikaman had some issues there. Sikaman had some issues getting his Ferrari out of the grass and into the right direction. And have a look, all of a sudden Tom Walsh is on the podium. So that's gonna be causing some smiles on the NASCAR on Instagram fan, the Tom Walsh and Haas fan, obviously. Whew. Quite some up and down here for Tom Walsh here in this race, but it looks like it could feature a happy end for him. 1.5 laps still remaining that Tom Walsh and all the others have to endure and try to maintain their position, or maybe even try to improve a little bit, but there is actually no one in striking distance anywhere. Gaps are more or less a little bit big, while field is stretched out because we did not have a safety car phase since lap 3. And here we see Zucker, who is actually the only one who is in, or let's say around the border of a DRS phase. Now he is over the 1 second, even pretty big, pretty intensely over the 1 second. So yeah, right now it does not look like as if there is anything still happening in this race, as long as no one commits some sort of mistake or incident. And that gives us some time to have a look at Bashi. Yeah, as I said a few minutes earlier, we did not have so many moments, so many potential possibilities to watch his masterpiece. But now, as he is already in Sector 3, he has shown a tremendous pace. Hello, by the way, to FedEx. Bashi has shown some tremendous great pace, a tremendously good season opener for him, and so far totally deserved the first season's victory going out to Ferrari of Bashi, winning the sprint, winning the race. Congrats for a whole lot of points on the inaugural event for Bashi. Second will be Cem Maxtor. Congrats to the Alpha Tauri. Pretty good race for him too. Let's have a short look about where they all came from. Position changes, +5 for Cem Maxtor, and then in the end there will be Thomas Walsh on the podium. Can you believe it? So much up and down for him. Being pushed around, being bullied, being turned around But in the end, he comes home in P3. Congratulations to the Haas of Tom Walsh. P4 goes to Dylan Chapman. 5th will be Guga River. 6th, then ABXMT. Who will be angry? Who will be angry? He did have chances or stakes for a podium, but literally threw it away in the end. And same goes in the direction of Sikavan, who had the podium in his hands. But then whatever happened, he drove the wrong direction in some moment. And so here we have the boys who will step on the podium. The winner, Bashi Chi for Ferrari, alongside AlphaTauri and Haas. And here are our cups, our trophies for this season opener in Lapland, Silverstone. And here's our final result from a first season's race. Bashi has won it ahead of Jim, Max Tower and Guga River in the end in P3. This is the overall result. The overall result, Guga River is of course 1 point ahead, as he had the by far better sprint result. 4th and Thomas Walsh. 5th goes overall to ABX and T. 6th Dylan Chapman. 7th Dean Con. P8 for Sikawan. 9th Dominic Walsh. 10th goes to Minmon and the Soccer, the last one who had been granted points. No points still for SVA, ESQ, Jinx, that is Jack Rocknian, Blood Diamond, and Simo Simpson. So that was our season starting into the 5th season for those who follow AMRS, and first season for the combined merged AMRS tier Senna. There is another tier that is called tier Schumacher. And I hope you liked it. I hope you liked the coverage of our season opener. There will be more. There will be plenty more races coming back next Wednesday evening. But I will not be there for the upcoming at least 6 weeks, as I'm a football trainer and our season is still yet to go on. The season will end midway through September, and then I might have the honor to broadcast the AMRS maybe again, maybe not. We will see how things will evolve. Thanks for having me here for the season opener. I hope you liked it, and I hope we will hear and see us again in the later stages of the year in autumn. Until then, have a nice evening, stay safe, and keep racing.